Hello, and welcome to the very first Cabin Cafecito. Today we're going to talk about a book haul. I have some writing updates and then just some general life updates. So la café ya está hecha, the coffee is ready. Let's get started. Okay, so to celebrate the first Cabin Cafecito, I have a very special coffee cup that I have here. It looks pretty simple. It was actually a gift that my husband got me for, I think, last year's birthday. But bonus points if anyone can guess where this is from. That first sip of coffee, I feel like, is always the best. Okay, so let's get started with the book haul. Because I've been buying books, let me tell you. I've recently gone to some indie bookstores, some estate sales, some just general book thrifting. So I feel like I have a lot to add to my shelves and a lot to talk about today. First bookstore that I want to highlight is the Intermission Bookstore in Brownwood, Texas. It's just a cute little bookstore kind of downtown in Brownwood. And it's actually has kind of an interesting history to it. The second that we walked in, there was someone there to greet us and give us a little history about the building. So during World War II, Brownwood was home to a couple of military bases, and I guess during their downtime after training or when they were waiting to get deployed, the soldiers would go to the Queen Theater, which is where the Intermission Bookstore is currently located. And when they would go watch a production, they would, rest their heads against the building to sleep, just because they've been understandably very tired during that time. And when you go in the building, if you look up, it's a 2-story building. If you look up, you can actually see outlines of people. Like you can see the shoulders very clearly and then the head. So it was kind of interesting that there was still a part of that history at the Intermission Bookstore. There was just a lot of things that I loved about that bookstore. Everyone was very welcoming. They had a beautiful book arch that you would walk through to get to the fiction section, and then upstairs they had the nonfiction. Everything was very well organized. There was a certain charm to the building that was just very comforting, and it had a very cozy book cabin vibe, which is just kind of when I do eventually get my little storage shed that I turn into my library, I want it to have the same feel. So to the purchases, I have that's the back. I have my Intermission Bookstore book, and my Intermission Bookstore purchases here. Shop indie, shop local, definitely, always when you can. So let's see what I got. So first, Poetry Unbound, 50 Poems to Open Your World. Poetry is a great way to learn more about different people, different cultures, different lifestyles, different life experiences. It's a great way to connect with someone without having to have a conversation with them. And so I'm really trying to expand my poetry collection. It's great to read classic and famous poets, but I also try to make sure that I'm diversifying my shelf, and definitely the poetry that I consume. And so, speaking of diversifying, let me go ahead and contradict that. I also purchased Sylvia Plath, The Collected Poems. This isn't super diverse for me just because I read a lot of Sylvia Plath. I have her unabridged journals. I also have a collection of letters that were bound and published by her. So, and I have Ariel, of course, her final poetry collection. So, there's just a mix of both. There's a mix of things that I enjoy, but also new voices to read. So, I also have Tripas here by Brandon Som. It's a Pulitzer Prize winner, so that was a great pickup. Then I have some, let me finish the poetry and then I'll get to the the novels. And then I have Images, Woman in Transition, compiled by Janice Grena. And one reason why I picked up this poem, in addition to it just being super cool and something different that I hadn't really seen before, within the book itself, there are several pictures, kind of landscape pictures, moments capturing, pictures capturing women in particular moments in time. Just a lot of different, very, in my opinion, impactful photographs. And in my current project, I kind of want to do something similar. And so I very much picked up this one, not only to read it, but also for the inspiration. Okay, so moving on to the fiction novels that I picked up. I also purchased The Witches of El Paso by Luis Jaramillo. And this one was a no-brainer for me. Witches, West Texas, author of color, instant add to cart. And then Robin McKinley, Sunshine. This just had a beautiful kind of gothic cover to it. I'm trying to read The Blue Sword by Robin McKinley. I just haven't found it yet, and that's one of the books that has been recommended to me. But I don't know. I feel bad just going onto Amazon and purchasing it. It's just one of those quirky things. I want to find it in person, so it's that much more meaningful once I actually do find it. But I'm on a journey to do that. But I figured why not just pick up some more Robin McKinley to see if I'm even going to like what's been recommended to me. Okay, so that is the intermission bookstore. Let's go ahead and move on to other books in the haul. So the next major book haul source that I have to talk about today is an estate sale. And so my husband and I, we like to thrift. We like to go to estate sales. If you're not familiar, there's an estate sales app, so it's estatesales.net. We have that on both of our phones, and we're always checking to see if there's an estate sale with some cool stuff that we want to go check out. And this particular estate sale is one that I'm always going to remember because first off, when you go in, if you've never been to an estate sale, they usually have rules on the door when you walk into the house. So for example, if there's always a rule that says something along the lines of all sales final, so if something happens, you can't come refund it. If there's a sale that's a cash only sale, or if anyone accepts credit cards, they usually put that. Another one that's common is if there's any discounts, so 25% off, 50% off, that sort of thing. Usually first day is full price, and then the next day is 25%, and so on and so forth. I have a lot of knowledge about estate sales, so if anyone ever has any questions, just hit me up. But whenever we were walking to this estate sale, the rule that was on the sign that was on the door said, buy 100 books, get 100 books free. Buy 100 books, get 100 books free. Awesome. Which is like, number one, that means that there's enough books in this place to be able to do that. But number two, I was looking at my husband. Actually, no, my husband looked back at me and there was just fear in his eyes because he knew that I was about to go in there and do some work. Unfortunately, we were also on the third day of the sale whenever we went. We didn't go as early as we should have. And the place was pretty cleaned out, but there were still a lot of great books that I got from that sale. And then, apart from that, I feel like you can tell a lot about a person by the books that they have on their shelf. Whoever this person was, they were just really cool. And then apart from that, just other stuff that they had, VHSs that they had in their collection, cool furniture, cool little collectibles. And then the layout of their house was just awesome. I wish I would have taken some videos, but I'm not really sure how receptive they would have been to that. But it was just awesome. So great vibes, great energy, and great stuff. So without further ado, let me go ahead and go through some of the books that I got from there. So we kind of have a mix on the books that I picked up. Some were just nostalgic reads, books that either me or my husband had read in the past that we wanted to add to our shelf. Others just had a great summary on the back of the sleeve that made me want to pick it up, and then others were just some things that I think would look good on the shelf, and you'll see what I mean by that. So first up is Artemis Fowl. This one is admittedly not mine. My husband read a lot of Artemis Fowl in the past, and when he was a kid, so he instantly picked this one up, and I was like, yeah, I know we're gonna grab that one. But I might read it just because I know that book means so much to him, and I think it'd be cool to have something to, another thing to talk about. In addition to that, I picked up Girls of Summer, the real story of the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League. So I played softball growing up. So I love softball, I love baseball, I love empowering women, so I think, and I thought A League of Their Own, I've seen that movie, thought it was pretty cool, so I'm interested to read more about the story from this perspective. In school, I remember, not sure if it was during Black History Month or just a general history project, but we were assigned someone to study, and I was assigned Sojourner Truth, and so I picked up Sojourner Truth, Ain't I a Woman. I remember actually, I think I've read this before, or I've studied it, not really sure, but basically I saw this and knew that I wanted to add it to the library as well. I also have here Anthology of American Poetry. So just, again, a collection of more poems from various writers. Always looking to expand that poetry collection. I also picked up Loving Warriors. So Selected Letters of Lucy Stone and Henry B. Blackwell. Basically, from what I can tell, this is a book where two people wrote love letters to each other, and it got compiled into a book. I was reading a little bit of this whenever I was deciding whether or not to pick it up, and let me see if I can't find that section that made me say, oh yeah, we're getting this. So this is Henry's letter to Lucy. So it starts off, Dear Miss Lucy, little intro. You told me you're going to remain at home and study this summer. Please oblige me by accepting the enclosed translation of Plato. It is the best one ever made, and I suppose, to anyone but a first-rate Greek scholar in the habit of reading the original, is the best form for study. Do not refuse my little gift. It will be such a luxury to me this summer, amid the hot and fetid air of Illinois, to imagine you amongst the cold green granite hills of Massachusetts, comfortably chatting with Socrates and his old Greeks, that I shall find the idea a better tonic than quinine in my old enemy, the skunk cabbage. No words. A Very Private Eye, an autobiography and diaries and letters. I always like just autobiographies that are captured through personal pieces. I'm not sure if that's really like an invasion of privacy for them. I hope it's not for Barbara Pym. But I just feel like you get the filtered sense of the person when you read their written autobiography. But if you have letters and diary entries from them, you get the real person. And I don't know, I that kind of stuff always intrigues me. Then I picked up this book, Prisoners of Men's Dreams. So when I was going through and trying to figure out whether or not I wanted to pick it up, I read this line. Too many women, Gordon finds, have abandoned the feminist movement's original goal of transforming workplace and family relationships. Instead of furthering the ideals of a transformative feminism, mainstream America has developed an equal opportunity feminism. Women now strive to be treated as equals to men in a man's world, rather than to change the masculine marketplace men have made. Instant add to cart. And I don't know if you can see, but I have my feminism shirt on with my little dragon burning down the patriarchy, which was kind of a happy accident. Okay. Let's see. I also have Don't Explain, which is a song of Billie Holiday by Alexis DeVoe. I haven't really read much, admittedly, about Billie Holiday. I am familiar with some of her music, but I'm interested to dive into this and learn more. Also, Gabriel Garcia Marquez, Collected Stories. Picked that one up. And then this is the one that I thought might just look neat on the shelf. The poetry book. It's just kind of an old book. One of those that kind of reminds me of books that I would find, like really, really old books that I would find in my school library as an elementary kid that no one ever picked up. So wanted to bring that home as well. So I didn't quite hit the 100 book mark, so I did not get 100 books free, but I was very happy with the stuff that I was able to bring home. And I'm kind of mulling over whether or not I want to start doing some book reviews on the channel, so I might maybe read one of the books that I picked up and do a video on that later. Okay, so the third book source that I have is the Goodwill Pound Store. And if you've never been to the Pound Store, basically you go in, and it's not like a typical thrift store. You go in and there are bins and bins of stuff. Pause for a quick coffee break. If you've never been to the Pound Store, you go in and there are just bins and bins of stuff. And from my understanding, the majority of the stuff at the Goodwill bins is stuff that did not sell at a traditional Goodwill. And so basically, when a store does their inventory, they notice that something's not moving off the shelf, they'll take it and send it to the bins, and the bins will just put it out for people to look through. And what's nice about that is if you go to the bins and you find something you like, you just take it, you add it to cart, you go up to pay, there's no price on each individual thing. Instead, you put it on this big scale and you pay by the pound. So I think, which is why they call it the Pound Store. I think it's $1.25 if I'm not mistaken. It's pretty cheap, so you can kind of just find some cool things there at a steep discount. And I like it because from my perspective, it's almost like the last stop before the landfill. So anything that I find at the bins, whether it be a cute thing for the house or just a random, books or stuff like that, it's kind of like I'm saving it from the landfill. So it gives me that little sense of doing good. So with that said, let's go ahead and look at what I got from the bins. Okay, so I have my bag here. It's an Aldi bag. And you're thinking, wow, you went to Aldi to get this bag and you paid money for it? No, I got it from the bins, because that's another thing about the bins is that they just have little bags like this, and so you pick one up and then that then becomes your shopping bag. I also know a lot about the bins in addition to estate sales, so if you have any questions, let me know. But let's go through and see what I got here. So one thing about the bins, it's kind of dangerous because it is so cheap. You kind of just pick stuff up without that, having that sense of maybe I should do some rational thinking and think whether or not I actually need this. sometimes that all goes out the window for me. So fair warning as we go through this bag. First up is Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare. I don't need to tell you who that's by. You're very familiar with that if you can speak the English language. But I just liked this because, again, just kind of adding more classics to the shelf. And also I really liked the cover. I thought that was cute. And so you'll see here it has like a Goodwill sticker on it. It's because it didn't sell at the Goodwill. They sent it to the bins and I picked it up and saved it from the landfill. So there you go. In addition to that, I got 2 classics. These are 2 Nikki classics right here. Going to the library on a good day, just finished her homework or whatever was going on and picked up The Boxcar Children. This was the first chapter book that I'd ever read, and it just made me feel like such a cool person in school because everyone else was not reading chapter books and I was, and so it just made me feel a sense of accomplishment. Like, yeah, I'm the first one. I'm like the leader of the group. Everyone else needs to step it up. I'm over here reading chapter books. And I just always thought that it was kind of a nice little wholesome story of just kids looking out for each other, siblings looking out for each other. I thought that was nice. And then, of course, like the mysteries that go into that. This is a newer one. I don't think I've read this one, or at least I haven't seen this cover. But it does say 2 on it. So I will say my library didn't just have them in order. So if this is the second one, Surprise Island, don't come for me and say that I'm not a Boxcar Children fan, because I am. It's just I do not recognize this cover. Okay, I did not have these covers. I had these covers. Okay. So, in addition to that, kind of on brand with the Romeo and Juliet, I saw the Merchant of Venice, Shakespeare's Merchant of Venice, and I just picked that up as well. Again, there's not really like that rational thought of should I pick this up because it's so cheap, and so I just kind of added it to the bag. But anyways, this one looks like it's from a library because it has that little code there, but it also has the Goodwill sticker on it as well, so I promise I didn't just steal this from a library. The Girl Who Played with Fire. I kind of get book FOMO whenever I see that other people are really into a particular series or a particular book, and I'm not into it, and it's always one of those things where I say, I'm going to read it eventually. You know, this is how I do it. I buy the book, and then eventually I will get to it. Little coffee break. Now the rest of these books, you're going to be like, what the heck are you doing? This is like a really weird thing to pick up. And it is, I will admit, but there's a purpose to it. So, and not the purpose that you think when I pull out this first one. Panic Disorders and Its Treatment. So this is a textbook, like a psychology textbook. Drug Therapy in Psychiatry, another textbook. Modern Clinical Psychiatry, another textbook. So 3 psychiatry textbooks. Why the heck am I picking these up? Am I trying to self-medicate? Promise you I'm not. So this all has to do with Project Moth. I'm not sure if this is your first video, then definitely not. But Project Moth is my thriller/horror novel that I'm working on. It is set in a mental health, psychiatric asylum, mental health treatment center. I need to research that sort of setting. Obviously, I don't have any personal background in it. So, in addition to Google and researching via the internet, I just wanted something tangible. I think it would be kind of neat to see what people in the medical field, especially in that space, read whenever they're going through college and earning their degrees. And so I basically just picked up a few textbooks. There were more, but I picked up a few textbooks that I think might be specifically relevant to my story. At first, I was hesitant because I was like, well, these books are pretty old. What if the information in here is dated and irrelevant? But then I thought, well, that's also kind of the vibe that I want to convey with this facility. I don't want it to be obviously this modern and very helpful mental health facility that does no wrong. That's kind of a plot point in the book. So the fact that it's a little dated and not so great and doesn't provide the best, most current treatment to its patients, that might actually play in my favor. So that was just something that I picked up as well. And I think it will be kind of another interesting thing to add to my book writing process, and especially the research bit of it. Another coffee break. I feel like each time I take a sip of coffee, I just get more and more energized. And I'm going to watch this back and be like, we need to cut down on the caffeine. So I thought we were done. You thought we were done. We're not done. Because there is a fourth source for this book haul. In the city where I live, we kind of have, they call them night markets, but basically they're like farmers markets that don't happen in the morning, and there's more stuff for sale than just fruit and vegetables and canned jams and that sort of thing. And one of the vendors there was an independent bookstore, and I picked up this blind date with the book, which I absolutely love blind dates with the book. I picked this up, I think, in June. So I've been holding on to this for a while because I knew I wanted to film this video and I wanted to unwrap it on camera. I wanted to bring you guys along in this experience. So this has been tormenting me for a couple of months. So without further ado, I just love this. I'm looking at it. In addition to the stamps, there's this little, I guess, a rat. I'm not really sure what that is, or if you can see it because of the glare. But he's super cute. I love that. I don't know what he's doing, where he's going with all those flowers, but that's adorable. Okay, so I picked this up. This is adult horror is the category. So yes, love it. Collection of 12 haunting stories by well-known author explores the darker side of humanity. Does anyone have any idea of what this could be? I do not. Let's open it. Okay. And I am not one of those people that opens my Christmas presents super cleanly. I just kind of rip the package open. But since this is packaged so beautifully, I'm going to try to be very careful. So here is the package unwrapped. I always keep these, the little wax seals, because I love Phantom of the Opera, and this always reminds me of Phantom of the Opera, and so I just keep them and I put them on like a little note, and then I put it on my Phantom of the Opera shelf. Love that. Okay, so unwrapping it, super excited. Okay, so in addition to the book, we have some hot cinnamon spice tea, which is like my favorite tea. I love cinnamon. I even add it to my coffee. We have some book tabs. We have one of these pens. I love these little types of pens. They work really well. A highlighter. A collection of stickers. So, oh my gosh, this is so cute. Okay, little black cat on a stack of books. Love that. A little open book with some flowers, and this is just like perfect cozy book cabin vibe. Cozy book cabin approved. Don't know if you can see, but it's just a window with some tea and an open book. A little bundle of cinnamon, which I just said I love cinnamon, so perfect. Love that. And then, of course, I bought from this vendor before, but they always include a little book review slip, which is just gorge. Okay. All right. See, okay, I didn't open that with much grace. Okay. Alrighty, so we got Stephen King, You Like It Darker. Okay. Nice. Well, that is definitely going to go on the horror shelf, and I will keep you guys updated. It'll just be one of the other numerous books that gets added to my TBR. So I feel like I can never keep up with my TBR. But buying books is just so fun. You know what I mean? I just love adding stuff to my library. It's just a matter of actually sitting down and reading everything. Okay, that was really fun. Let's go ahead and move on to talk about some writing updates. Okay, so writing updates. I am still working through Project Moth. As I mentioned, you saw those psychology textbooks that I picked up. I'm stuck in Act 2. That's where I currently am right now. I talked a little bit about this, I think, in my previous video, but I had a very clear picture of what I wanted the story to be when I first wrote the first draft. And now I have so many more ideas of how I can add more substance to the story, and that's causing me to need to rewrite a lot of it, which kind of sucks because I felt like I was 70% of the way done just because of how much I'd been working on it, and get to about middle to end of Act 2, and then I decide I want to change a lot of stuff, and so I went back, rewrote Act 1, changed a few key things, and then now I'm rewriting Act 2. I'm at a point in the story where I'm just stuck. I don't really know what's going to happen next. And I mentioned this a little bit in my previous video as well, in that when I reached that point where I was stuck, I just kind of set the project aside and said, okay, I am going to pick this back up when I know where it's going to go, when I know what the next steps are. That caused me to not write a lot for several days, and then weeks, and then a handful of months. And I just would spin my wheels on this one particular part and not know where I wanted it to go. And so that just meant that I didn't make progress on the actual story part. There was a lot of brainstorming happening behind the scenes. I have a little book where I, write everything down that I'm kind of thinking through. And so there was, I guess, some movement forward with the story. It just wasn't strictly on the manuscript itself. In hindsight, what I should have done was just skip that part and started to write the other sections, the latter half of Act 2, maybe even jumped to Act 3 because I have a pretty clear picture of where I want that to end. But instead, I just stayed on that one particular part, and so that's where I am now. I do plan on, honestly, right now, I think I'm just going to skip over that one part. I had some ideas recently about where I wanted that to go, but rather than continuing to dedicate time to that, I think I'm just going to move on. Also think that part, I can build a bridge from that part to the rest of Act 2 if I go back and just really study the characters that I've created. I think what I'm going to do is start journal entries from their perspective, because that will help me to make the interactions between them feel more realistic, but also help me build a good foundation, especially within their dialogues and their interactions, within their dialogue, singular, and interactions. Good foundation to build off of, a good jumping point to get through Act 2 with. So yeah, that's the Project Moth update. In addition to Project Moth, I've also been writing a lot of poetry. I always kept a poetry book, a poetry journal that I would write, and a lot of times they would be almost like journal entries in poetry form. And recently I've started to sit with them more, edit them, get them to a point to where I feel comfortable sharing them with other people. And so I have created, it started off as just a general blog to track my progress on this book, kind of like with the channel, but it's almost accidentally transitioned into a poetry blog. So if you are interested in reading more of that, it's just cozybookcabin.ghost.io. So it's a ghost blog. I'll also put the link in the video description. Do not go into it with any high expectations, please, because it is very much amateur poetry, but it is also heartfelt and comes from personal experiences. Fair warning, both good and not so good. So it's just kind of another, kind of like what I was talking about earlier about how you can really learn about someone through their poetry and through their journal entries. I feel like this is almost kind of a combination of both. So if you want to know a little bit more about me, you can definitely go over to the blog and read those poems. Okay, so to wrap up this cabin cafecito, I just want to end with some quick life updates, and then also stuff that you can look forward to with the Cozy Book Cabin. So first, life updates. I am embarking on a journey. I don't have a strict deadline, so I don't know when it's going to come to fruition, but I have started practicing, training, I guess would be a better way to put it, to run a 5K. I am someone who, I mentioned I played softball, so I am very much a short distance sprinter, not a long distance runner. And I say that as if it's in the present tense. I was a short distance sprinter in my time of playing softball. It has been several years since I've played. I was never really a long distance runner in any form or fashion in any year that I ever did a sport. So it's been interesting. I'm on week 3. I'm doing the Couch to 5K plan. What I've discovered is that a lot of it just depends on your pace, I guess, which I feel like if anyone out there is a runner, that's going to seem like an obvious thing. But for me, whenever I tried to do any sort of long distance running, I would just kind of take off at a fast jogging pace, a quick jogging pace, and obviously I would get tired very soon. So I've just kind of switched that around and tried to keep myself from doing that and try to start slower, and I feel like that's helping. I'm nowhere near being able to run the entire 5K yet. I'm still working on getting there. But I also had a friend tell me recently, who says that you have to run the entire thing? And that was just one of those moments where I had a revelation of, I guess technically no one is telling me to run the whole thing. It's not like I'm going to enter a 5K to compete and, qualify for the Olympics. I'm probably going to enter one of those random 5Ks where you get wine at the end or something. Definitely I want to start with something that is walk run. That way if there are people walking the whole thing, I know that I will not be last. But those few words of encouragement changed my perspective, and I might sign up for one before the end of this year, which is very nerve-wracking. But so just kind of a little life update there. In addition to that, my husband and I are thinking of going on a week-long vacation in August. We don't really have vacations where we go to specific destinations like Hawaii or Paris or anything like that. We kind of keep it very simple, and we find like a Vrbo in a random place and almost live like a local for a week. We've done that a couple of times with random trips to like Oklahoma City. That's how I found the Intermission bookstore in Brownwood. So we're thinking of doing something like that. And usually what we do is we would hit up bookstores and hit up some thrift stores. So I might do a little filming during that week just to kind of take you guys with me, especially if I find any cool bookstores. I also want to maybe see if I can kind of schedule a mini writing retreat, and maybe that I could take you guys along with me and film some of that too. So that's in the works. I'll let you guys know if that's something that I actually do. And the final thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about is that I will be starting fundraising efforts for my book soon. So if you saw the last video, you'll know that Project Moth, and I kind of talked about it today, Project Moth is still in the works, not yet ready to publish. But while taking a break from Project Moth, I started another project, Project Garden, that is about 80% of the way there. So my plan is to continue finishing that, and I think that I'm on track to do that. I feel much better about this one than I do Project Moth, just in terms of where it's at. I'm going to finish that and then send it to, try to hire an editor, send it to an editor, incorporate the feedback, and then send it to some beta readers, just to test the waters. But that process is going to cost some money, and the publishing process is going to cost some money. So, and I've been saving up because I know that that's an expense that's coming, but I do want to start some fundraising efforts. That way, I can hopefully fund the book publishing through what I've earned versus just dipping into our household savings and funding this. Either way, I'll be happy and grateful to be able to publish something, but I think it would be better if I am strategic with the way that I pay for the book publishing. It would be neat to do, I think, weekly check-ins with you guys to let you know where I'm at with the publishing goal and how much longer I have to go. So with all of that being said, I have some ideas in the works. I think the main idea that I've been working on is designing some cute shirts in tote bags, and especially sweatshirts. I know that we're still a little ways off from it feeling like fall. Even if we're a couple of months, I know that it's not going to really cool down for a minute, but I want to get some sweatshirts, some cute sweatshirts made for fall and for winter, and some coffee mugs because I love coffee. So I'm still working through the design and finding a vendor, but that's something that I'm planning on doing. That way I can hopefully raise money to be able to fund Project Garden. I also have some other ideas. They're a little less refined. The merch one is the one that I think is definitely going to happen, but the other ideas are still in the brainstorming process. But whatever I end up doing, I do plan on documenting the journey, so be sure you're subscribed so that you can keep up with that. Okay, so thank you so much for joining me in our very first Cabin Cafecito. If you have any ideas of things you would like to see in future videos, please let me know. Otherwise, I will see you in the next one. Bye.